All right, let's start with Players of the Week. First of all, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. Players of the Week, Riley Lee's on offense. Thought Riley played really well, and big playmaker was J.J. Jefferson. Big touchdown, put us back into the game, and both those guys are doing a really good job as punt returners. Travis Willock was all over the field. He's our Defensive Player of the Week, and J.R. Pace with the big interception was our defensive big playmaker. Special teams-wise was Ray Nairo. Learned from the week prior. Cody had muffed the ball at Michigan State. The Michigan State game, I should say, and Ray, didn't finish nosing him up and finish on the side, and that was a big play that we missed. And obviously that play that he recovered the muff really turned momentum and gave us a chance to get back in the game. Practice Players of the Week, Conrad Rowley on offense, Rod Hurd defense, and Bryce Gallagher in the kicking game. But another huge challenge for us here going on the road. I've gotten to know Scott Frost incredibly well, and from afar, as he was starting off his head coaching career and seeing the success that he had, was someone that I had the utmost respect for. We're contemporaries, kind of played in the same era, and to see the success that he's having in his career, just really happy for him, and he's doing a great job with the squad. So we're going to have our hands full. It's a great college environment. Memorial Stadium is one of those cathedrals of college football, and their fans are as respectful and as unbelievable to the visiting team as anywhere that you'll play in the country. And so it'll be a great atmosphere. It'll be a huge challenge. We're going to have to handle all those things, but most importantly, we're going to need to really prepare this week really well and get ourselves ready to go find a way to win. So I'm sure you got questions. I'll be more than willing to answer all of them if you got them so far away.
Going back to special teams and the punt return, you guys started dropping two returners back a lot on Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you've done it very much at all this season before that. And in previous seasons, was there something that made you go to that switch, special teams-wise?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like everything we do. With every game plan decision is made on a week-by-week basis. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. And we kind of look at each week as its own independent challenge and then independent opportunity. So as we talked last week, we kind of felt like there were some things that maybe we could have and get accomplished. So we'll see how things progress moving forward, because not every punt team allows you the opportunity to do what we were able to do a little bit. Not to the execution that we want it to be at by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just changing things up, changing looks up, and making sure that you're sound with what you do, number one, multiple with what you do, number two, so you're fake sound and gadgetry sound, and then try to make big plays.
And then defensively, going from a more run-heavy, got to have a bunch of guys in the box offense against Wisconsin to an offense that's been a little bit more willing to stretch the field in Nebraska. Does that present any challenges when you're going from one to the other so quickly, or is it just game plan before the season, you're ready for that?
Yeah, no, I mean, same thing I just said for the punt return answer. I mean, each week presents a new challenge and a new opportunity. It's a huge challenge. I mean, the weaponry that Nebraska has on offense, and it starts, obviously with Adrian. I mean, he took the conference by storm last year, and he's just continued on in this year. They did some really cool stuff and went a little throwback there on a series against Ohio State that presents, unique challenges, and I'm sure they'll expand that because they had success with it. And so we'll have to prepare for a lot of things. But Frosty and his offensive staff, Coach Walters, do an outstanding job. They make you defend tempo. They make you defend horizontally. They make you defend vertically. They make you defend the point of attack. Quarterback's a part of the run game. There's a lot of issues that you have to have defensively when you play this offense, a lot of challenges.
Fitz, is Hunter full go this week, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'll issue the injury report on Thursday. He ran around a little bit today, so that was very encouraging.
Running back. So I thought there were a couple times I was a little surprised that Drake was in there to try to pick up the blitz. Mm-hmm. Is that more a result of you obviously believing he can do it, or Bowser and not being 100%?
Correct.
Some of both, maybe.
Correct.
Skoranek is not on the depth chart. Should we assume he's not going to be available this week?
Yeah, Bennett's going to be out for a little while. He unfortunately had to have surgery, so he'll be out for we'll say at least a month, and we'll progress from there. So, unfortunate deal, kind of a really unique freak deal, just a normal football play. But Bennett's in great spirits. Everything went the way we thought it would go, and we'll see where it goes probably about a month from now. I like the Bengals. Big night tonight, huh?
When Nebraska came into the Big Ten, when you started playing them in 2011, did you think that this series would evolve into the kind of rivalry that it has now, and it would be as kind of evenly matched over the years as it's been?
Well, again, I have the utmost respect for the Nebraska program. I mean, I'll go back to when I was a kid, and, there weren't very many games on TV, but it just always seemed like the Nebraska game was on in the afternoon. It just seemed like they're always playing Oklahoma every week. I don't know. That's what it felt like when you watched Saturday TV in my house. So, and going back, and then I've gotten to know Coach Osborne, when he became the AD and we were in meetings. And so did I think that Northwestern and Nebraska would ever become a rivalry? I think as a kid I would have probably told you no. But now as I think we're building our program to where we want it to be, and I know Frosty, I've listened to a lot of the things that they're talking about building their program, and you can see the building blocks happening. I think we've been very fortunate. Again, just like last week's game, I think this game is really hinged on turnovers. They've been critically important in the game, and I know both teams ourselves, and I don't want to speak for Frosty, but I know both of us are turning it over at a rate that is leading to reason why we're having inconsistencies on offense. So, again, I think our fans really respect each other. I know it's a great challenge for us to play out there. It's an unbelievable environment, and again, another great opportunity, though.
Sticking with Nebraska, you guys have played some crazy games with them, a lot of tight games, last two in overtime. Is there any rhyme or reason to that, you think? And, what makes, you talked about Nebraska being a cathedral of college football, yet you're 3-1 there. Any reasons for that? Anything behind it?
Well, I can't tell you, Louis, that I've studied the kind of the key areas of winning football games, but I do know the turnover ratio has been key. I mean, it's been really, really important in those games, especially in the second half. There's been some huge plays. You think back to last year, we had some huge fourth down conversions coming back and rallying. And they're a different team this year than they were a year ago. All you have to do is pop on the tape. It's obvious. It was obvious they were getting better as they were coming into our game last year, and then the way they played the rest of the season was really impressive, and then it picked up again as the season started. Kind of ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw on Saturday, but they've played really well, and I don't think they played too poorly really Saturday. I thought just Ohio State played maybe as near perfect of a game as you can play.
Coach, with Ben Skowronek down, there's other guys in that room now that have to kind of fill the void a little bit. That void was partially filled by a really good game that by a lot of guys. Talk about that room and how they have really, started to say, okay, it's now our responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll start with the two guys that I thought played really well with Riley and JJ. I thought both those guys not only played well at receiver, but played well in the kick game. And, Riley a little bit more experienced than JJ, but again, a guy that's made a lot of plays for us here in his young career, and very thankful for that. But we've got to get more production out of our passing game, period. We can't have a lack of balance and expect to have a lot of success. So taking care of the ball, number one, taking what the defense gives us, number two, and then being able to have balance, gives us an opportunity then to be multiple. And right now we're not quite there yet, but those guys are playing at a pretty high level, made some big plays for us.
So Bowser missed the UNLV game and then hasn't received a ton of carries since then. How do you manage a running back coming back from injury, assigning how many reps you're going to give him and how much you're going to use him? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of communication with the young man, how he's feeling, how he's doing. You really work hard with the medical team. Make sure throughout the course of the week you're giving him a really good plan. I'm really proud of him. He's been relentless in his rehab and working hard every single day to just keep getting healthier and healthier. And I think a lesser-minded guy, a less tough guy, I mean, he's so tough, probably doesn't play. He probably doesn't play. But Isaiah's doing everything he can, and we're just taking it day by day, and just I'm really, really proud of him because it's not going the way the script is, right? He had such a great offseason. He worked relentlessly to get himself ready for the year, and then you go in the opener and things don't go the way you want it to go. And so I think the way he's responded, I think shows me a lot about his maturity, and we're really, really proud of him. And our hope is he's just going to keep getting better, but we'll adjust accordingly.
And then is the idea to keep rotating carries with him and Drake?
Again, it's week by week and day by day, so we'll see how things go.
Pat, after the game Saturday, Riley was quoted as saying, "We just have to get a little mojo going, a little confidence."
Mm.
Do you see the offense lacking confidence? And if so, how do you get that mojo going?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. When you're not scoring touchdowns and you're turning the ball over for touchdowns, I don't know, that would zap my juice. It's kind of like when I play golf, I kind of I don't really give a rip attitude, so I'm the most confident guy in the world because I don't give a rip, There's other adjectives I would use, but for TV purposes with little ears. It's a day off of school for my boys today, so they're probably watching, so I hope Jack and Ryan and Brendan are behaving for mom, but here on the holiday. But yeah, it's chicken or egg, right? It's confidence or execution. It's the same thing, and I think we got some guys that are very confident. I really do on offense. We do. I also think that they're pretty pissed off, to be honest with you. I think they're getting frustrated with the play of our offense. They're taking it to heart. They're taking pride in the way we prepare, and they're holding their teammates accountable to bring them along. And some guys, they're the excuse of being young is over. You're a month into the season, so there needs to be obviously a higher level of consistency and execution and in play, and I think then confidence comes. But the guys know they can make plays. We've made plays. So we got to help them as a staff. We got to put them in position to make plays, and then it'll come. But you can't stop. You can't. You just got to keep grinding. And then
just sort of follow up, is Hunter trying? You've talked before about just cutting loose and playing. Is Hunter trying to be too perfect sometimes?
Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to be too perfect. I just think he's trying to find a way to win. You know what I mean? And I think he's trying to do too much. I don't sense that he's trying to be perfect because I don't think football, that's a realistic thing. But I think he's just trying, and man, he cares, and he's working really hard, and it's going to get better. He's just got to keep working. Same thing with Aiden. I was really proud of the way Aiden responded. I thought he responded pretty well in the second half, or in the fourth quarter, I should say. So there's a lot of things we got to help him with as a staff, and we're working diligently to get that fixed right now.
Can I take Hunter one more?
Yeah, well, I got nowhere to go, so yeah.
No, but he had such success. Is it also possible that he thinks he can do it no matter what, and is trying to force things?
Yeah, I didn't see him force the ball into any bad windows. I didn't see him make any bad decisions per se. I've got the arm strength, hear me roar type of thing that you see some quarterbacks do. I didn't see that. I just think in the ebb and the flow of the game, as a staff, we've got to do a really good job of just continuing to put us in position to execute plays and schematics that we can do, and then adjust based on what we're seeing. I thought we adjusted a little bit too slow to a couple things, and our offensive staff did too. I mean, it was not hard for us to go, we should have got to this and this a little bit quicker, and that's on us, and we take full responsibility for that. But then once I thought we got some things corrected, we had a little bit of communication issues. And like I said, some young guys, you're not young anymore. Those mistakes can't happen. Then we had some veterans make some mistakes in costly times. So disappointing, but at the same time, the guys' attitudes were really good today, and they know we have a good football team. We've just got to stick together and keep working really hard to get better.
Coach, I'm not sure if you follow the statistic, but Bill Conley of ESPN has an SP Plus ranking that measures tempo and opponent adjusted measure of college football efficiency. And
Can you say that again? Because I'm really confused with what that stat is, but go ahead, say what it is.
It is a tempo and opponent adjusted measure of college football efficiency.
Okay.
Northwestern offensively is ranked 123rd, defensively is ranked 11th. Do you have any thoughts on the disparity between the two?
It's not good enough. That's why we're 1-3. I needed that stat though to know that. So, thanks for sharing it. I feel well educated. He's a great dude too, by the way. So shout out to him. Maybe I'll get on his Twitter, and I won't read it. So.
Speaking of stats, I do have an analytics question going back to the Wisconsin game. All right, so it says you should go for 2 down 24-9 in that situation.
Right.
Is that more of a generic always do it?
No.
Or, okay, because here the question, obviously, Wisconsin has the best defense in the country.
Right.
So
do
is
you want to go to overtime with him?
I mean, I'd rather not be
there you go. See, you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me I was wrong and then I'm right. So no, it's really game specific. Okay. When with what we do, we have obviously a comprehensive game plan, and especially determining how we're going to use analytics every single week. And it's a component of the weekly breakdown. It's not everything. It's not there's major factors that go into it, right? How are we playing? How are they playing? Weather, health, going into the game, what did we think we could do? What did we think we couldn't do? How is that adjust? I mean, momentum, the list goes on and on and on. So it's a factor of our decision making. But, you look at the point when I made that decision, our starting quarterback in that game was out. Quite frankly, we're playing the 8th-ranked team on the road, and I'm going to win the game in regulation. So how do you get there, right? You're down 15, you make it down 13, score 2 more times, extra point, Cats win, go home, right? Conventional wisdom says, well, no, you do this, and then you end up scoring twice, and then you go to overtime, and then you win in overtime, right? That's the flip side of the coin. And so you got 3 possessions that you have to win the game. And when you go for that early, the numbers say, now I know exactly what I need to do on the subsequent end of the series 2-point, 1-point situations, if that makes sense. Or you can kick extra point, and it's all or nothing at the end. Right. So the analytics and the numbers point to you go for it early. You go for it early, so then as you go throughout the course of the game, you know exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it. Now, the key thing is, though, make the 2-point conversion, and I'm a genius. Don't make it, and we lose. Now, at the end of the day, it wasn't the mitigating factor in the outcome of the game. But, you go to Mac Brown's decision at the end of the Clemson game. Sure, well, of course you did. And that's my whole point. Each game has different circumstances.
I mean, you understand how the fans and a lot of people look at it. If Wisconsin is yielding the fewest yards per play in the nation, maybe you take the free kick.
You need to then go and try to maximize every possession from a point standpoint. I totally agree. Every possession, you have to maximize the points. And that's what we were trying to do. Maximize the points because they don't give up a lot of yards. They don't give it. So how could I know we're going to get back down there? I can't. So I'm trying to maximize the points on this drive. And if I get it down to 13 and we score again, extra point, now we got a chance to go win the game in regulation. That's the mindset behind it. So that's why I go over it as in detail as I can, because our fans are smart, and it is something that we look at every single week and how we're going to utilize it. And it's really research driven. It's not something I just kind of go, oh, it says 15, cool. It's something that we really think about. We really talk about. We talked about it pregame. We are not going up there to tie. It may be different next week. I mean, last year against Nebraska, we got end of the game, we score, and we kicked the extra point because we felt like in overtime we had a chance to go score some points. That was based on pregame and then the flow of the game. So each game is, specific to each set of circumstances. So we put a lot of research into it. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And will it be different next game? Maybe. I don't know because I can't anticipate what's going to happen. But you're right. There's 2 sides of that, and we're playing one of the best defenses in the country. I got to maximize points right here, right now. I wish we would have got it. If we get it, now all of a sudden you go, oh, it worked. And unfortunately, when you go 0 for 2, it doesn't work. All we need to do is go 1 for 2, and now it's a totally different game, which is disappointing.
If you want to read the exact stats on that, by the way, we posted an article on it this morning with the exact percentage stats on it. So just for you there. Coach,
can you educate? You guys are educating me, so let's keep going.
You can take a look at it. It's on InsideNU.com.
I'm not going to read that.
Fair enough.
I have another adjective, but I won't say that. So go ahead.
Fair enough.
But I do respect it.
When you talk about those stats,
who did those stats for you?
Well, I did it myself. Okay.
I love it.
In the first 11 possessions of the game, you guys ran the ball to start on first and second down in 6 of those first 11 series. Is that a number that you want to be at against a team like Wisconsin?
We number one wanted to make sure that we could find a way to try to run the football. And there were some things that we thought we could execute that we ended up making some errors early, and then we corrected them. But again, we're trying, as you guys could realize now, we've got a couple of young, experienced quarterbacks, and you're trying to take some pressure off of them. But we got to take what the defense gives us too, and we didn't do a good enough job adjusting to some things that Wisconsin was doing. Yeah, absolutely.
And then when I asked you this on Saturday, you said you'd go back and look at the film. You guys didn't stretch the field in the passing game very much at all in the first half. When you did throw, it was a lot of short throws. Similarly to against Michigan State, is that again a product of what Wisconsin forced you into, or a product of game plan?
I'd say probably a product of both.
You mentioned a little bit about Nebraska bringing it back to old school with the I formation on Saturday. What's it like when you're going up against an offense that seems to be sort of trying to figure out its identity and like what's going to be running play-wise on Saturday?
Well, I mean, I think every offense is multiple. I mean, Wisconsin was multiple. They ran a bunch of new stuff that we had not necessarily prepared specifically for, and we try to do the same thing, especially as you get going in a week, as you look at what your opponent does. So, they'll build off of what they've done. They'll do different things, and that's, I think, what most offenses try to do when you're, able to accomplish some things. It's like when we play Iowa, you're going to always see compliments to the base stuff that they see, but the tenets of what they do. So the tenets of what Nebraska's going to do is going to be the same. Quarterback's very involved in the run game, and obviously then the throwing component. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a huge challenge for our defense, there's no doubt.
And California Governor Gavin Newsom today signed the bill, SB 206, that makes it in California in 2023. Players can make money off their own likeness. What are your thoughts on that bill and its potential to spread across the country?
Well, I think I've been pretty outspoken and a proponent of whatever is in the best interest of student athletes. I fully support. I don't know enough about all the ins and outs of what the bill means, so I'd have to do a lot more research on that to speak specifically to that and where things would go across the country. But I've been really active since I had the privilege of going to the AFCA Board of Trustees and represent the Big Ten to really work hard. When we work with our NCAA partners and give a perspective that I think is pretty unique as being a former student athlete, someone that had somewhat of an above average career, I think I've got a pretty good perspective. And now obviously being a coach as long as I have, I think I've got a big picture understanding of where things are at. And my hope is that we continue to work to make our game better and make the experience of our student athletes better. And again, I'll go back to what I've been pretty outspoken on. I really have a huge concern about only making things happen for football and basketball players. And so my hope is whatever we do is open and an opportunity for everybody, regardless of what, and again, I don't know enough about that to speak candidly specifically. I got enough problems. That one's not one. But the ins and outs of all those details, I just don't want anything just this. And that's, again, going back to not only when I was a student athlete, but now. I watch our softball team. They work 10 times harder than our guys do. I can go on and on with all of our other student athletes, I don't want one-off things that may make it better for, football or basketball, but not everybody else. So again, I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I'd rather hopefully get to a better destination for everybody. Because I think if we make it really narrow, I think that has the potential to really change what may happen. And I just hope that doesn't happen.
What do you think that better destination is?
I got to work today, brother. We don't have enough time. We can get a six-pack and put a fire on and, put smoking jackets on and discuss world peace. There's a lot. And I think we're in a lot better place than we've ever been. I mean, we go back to when I was playing, we had like an X, that went extra large. 2X's meant 2X on our gear. I mean, I think we wore like the 360 shoes, if you remember, and now we may not have won a game, but we won the uniform Saturday. There's no doubt about that. So at least I did something right Saturday. But I just think there's a lot of mitigating factors when we look at the big picture of the student-athlete experience. And I think, Jim and our staff here do everything within our power of what we can control to make it the best we can. And most importantly, I think more than anything else, is listening. I think we've done a really good job listening to our student athletes. There's a lot of things that I look at our guys and say, I wish I could do this or I wish I could do that. Someday maybe we will be able to. But that list has gone down exponentially. And I just appreciate our guys' candor, and we work really hard. It's why I have a leadership council. That's why I meet with those guys weekly throughout the whole year to make sure everything we're doing. So big picture, it's kind of hard to say, because I don't know how all the dominoes happen and how they all fit together. Even though I've been in a lot of national meetings, there's a lot of working parts. So, I look forward to that, whatever that destination is, being better. But I just really, really hope it's not just for football and basketball. That I do know. because I think that would really change what college sports is all about.
He took my question, but I'm going to ask another one. And it's going to sound snarky, but it's a sincere question. So we're talking a lot about it, the analytics you use to make decisions today. And, one of the things you always like to say is stats are for losers.
Absolutely.
Right? So is there a difference between stats and analytics?
Oh,
And
yeah.
how do you reconcile using one and talking about the other one as being for losers?
Well, I'll say 2 reasons why. Number one is because, have you ever heard of the Jedi mind trick? Do you know what a Jedi mind trick is? So that's my first answer. So you can figure that out statistically. And then number 2, a lot of the things that we do are proprietary. A lot of the things that we do are proprietary to what we do and how we do it. So I don't share a lot for a reason. It's not unique to Northwestern football. There's more and more teams that are doing a lot of things that, quite frankly, I'm not going to talk about as far as the research. It's just broad-based, and I'm going to stay as broad-based as I can because a lot of those things are proprietary. So I'm going to keep it at that. So
proprietary means it's coming from a company or something?
could be, maybe.
But you're talking about the analytics?
Could be internal, could be external, could be internal, could be external. But there's a lot of things that we do, and it's amazing. It's worked a lot, and I've never got up here and said anything about it. And that's by design, because that goes back to answer number 1. That's the Jedi mind trick. That's why stats are for losers. That's the exact point of the answer. Or I could be here all day. I got nothing else to do. We're just playing so well right now. I'm going to go play golf. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. Holiday. Anything else?
Coach, Malik Washington's listed on the 2 deep. Obviously, he's a freshman. Is there any plan then with the red shirt? Or
I don't know how many games has he played in. I don't know how many he's played. 3? He's got 1 more, right?
okay,
At
Yeah.
least.
okay.
Yeah, at least. Anything else? Go ahead, please.
You sort of mentioned a little jokingly that you teach a class for analytics here. Have you ever considered Mike Leach out of Washington State or Herm Edwards at Arizona State actually teaching a class at some point here?
Yeah, I taught when I was at Idaho. We all did. It was part of a football 101 class where I went in and talked about special teams and linebacker play. So I was that week's guest. It was Tom Cable, our head coach, was a professor. And then we were all the assistant professors for each week. It was actually a lot of fun. I would love to. I'd more importantly like to have a football major. I think that would be awesome. Maybe bring back PE here. I'm a CESP grad, and I'm very proud of that. So I'd like to see the School of Education and Social Policy think about that. We had that at one point. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a high school coach. Obviously the cards have been a little bit different, but it would be a lot of fun. It would be awesome. I would really enjoy it. You guys know how I feel about our students. I love them and I adore them, and I would do anything for our students that I possibly could. And if that would be something, I would love to. I've been asked to be a guest speaker at a lot of classes over my time, and every opportunity I've had to do that, I've really enjoyed it. I've spoken in a bunch of dorms, frats, a couple sororities over my time here in my role, and I think every one of those opportunities has been just an awesome time for me to spend with what and who we play for, and that's our student body. So that would be cool. I would love to, but the analytics got to work first, right? If we get the 2-point play, then it's like, so we did this and it worked that way. And again, I'm not going to go into the other games that it has worked, but that's okay. You guys can write articles about it and do stats for me. And then get plugs for your websites. It's great. I love it. So I'm here for you guys, whatever I can do. All right. Have a great day. Go Cats.